3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to Bean Gaming. We do have a little bit of an update again with the new Steampunk Endless, and I have to say things are a little bit better. No, things are a lot better. And actually, with this modification to the new Steampunk Endless, I actually think it's the best way that maybe it's ever been. I don't know, because I know the first time was actually overpowered, but this is the best out of all the modifications that they made. How about we leave it at that? And so, without further ado, you know where we have to go? To the Bean Gaming Spreadsheet of Hope. Here we go. I've kept track of all of the different times that the developers have updated all of the Endless games here. All the money, when the bosses come out, the waves, and I shouldn't say money, I should say the clocks. That's what they're called, the clocks. And overall, the last update they did, prior to the one that they did today, it wasn't overly good. And let me get my face out of the way so we can take a look at the previous couple of updates here. All right, let's scoot over one more time. And here we go, get it in there. All right, now we're looking good. So take a look at the Bean Gaming Spreadsheet of Hope. In the green and the red here, this is after one of the, actually the first update that they did. It was just, I mean, you can see that every single wave that changed, every time you got past a boss, that it stayed about 500. I went to 600 for a handful of bosses, then 700. So it increased by 100 after so many handful of bosses. That was just okay. But then the update that actually really did it in was the update from yesterday, where you start off and you can see that they're still getting a difference of 500, 600, 700, but you just weren't gaining a lot of money over time. So this was kind of overly disappointing, because after wave 530, which I think I got to today actually, I only made 22,000 clocks. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to just grind the heck out of this thing. Well, then Goon came along and actually updated everything again, and is actually for the better. So the first handful of waves stay the same. You can see 1,500 after the first 1-2 bosses. After 3 bosses, that the update previously to the new update actually is the exact same at 1,500, not money, we should say clocks. Let me change this to clocks right now. Okay, so I was like, okay, everything kind of seems to stay the same here. But then what's really nice now is every set of bosses, every boss that comes by now and you win, you actually get 50 more clocks every single time. And so over time, you can see that once I get to the boss down here, which is about wave 281, about 300, because I think the bosses are random with plus or minus maybe 3 waves or so. But when you line up the bosses, those waves there, then you can see a massive difference at wave 281 to 300, roughly, from 9,500 clocks to 14,500. And that difference of 50 clocks every single boss is pretty good. So when I got to wave 530 this morning, I was at 22,000 clocks. But if I get to that same wave again, I'm now at 37,950. Maybe not the best as it originally was, but it's really, really better than what it was yesterday. So thank you, Goon and the development team, for actually modifying this thing, and I hope it doesn't change again. I think this is a really good sweet spot for it. Plus now, they actually give us souls as well. It's not a ton of souls, but it's something. It's better than nothing. And I know a lot of people are saying, well, Bean, that's great and all, but you have the team to get to wave 530. I don't. And that's fair to say. But if you do take a look, notice that you're still at an advantage. If you can get to wave roughly 47 to 50-ish, then you're still going to be better today than you were yesterday. So you are going to get that 50 clock difference the rest of the way through as far as you can get. Now, you may have to grind longer than I will, but at the same time, I'm telling you, you're in a better spot today than you were yesterday. So we're going to keep an eye on that, and I hope that things have kind of stabilized now, and that this thing is actually going to be set in stone for the rest of the way through. Now, what's the best strategy for this new Steampunk Endless? Well, I tried a couple different teams, and I'm still not done testing the team I'm about to show you in a few minutes here, but the team that I've been taking is going to be Where's my starter? Shiny Fortified Endo 02. You're going to have to let me know if there's a better starter. Me personally, I don't think there is. I know a lot of people have been using Atom Dude, but But the problem is Anim Dude is so slow and the range isn't overly good. He'll be able to knock out those enemies pretty quickly on the first maybe couple hundred of waves, but after that, I just don't see it working. Plus, I tried it before, and unless I'm doing something wrong, I just have a regular Vengeance Anim Dude. I don't have a shiny version. I still got to go with that shiny Fortified Endo 02. The cooldown is 0.2, and then throw that 20% decrease on top of it because of the Vengeance there, and the shiny 25% with the range 35 with Vengeance. I gotta say, for me personally, you have to let me know if I'm wrong here, but for me personally, the shiny Fortified Endo 02 with Vengeance on it is the best starter to use. And again, because you can place 4 of those suckers, and when you have enemies that are coming out of 2 entrances, I mean, you can place those accordingly, where with Anim Dude, you essentially got to place them in one spot and then hope for the best. So keep that in mind. I am going with the shiny Eclipse Ballora. Now, there were people saying that the Eclipse Ballora did get a nerf. I don't think that's true. I think it's been the same, except they updated the text over here because it was at 25%, but I think that 25% was split across the dual boost and the cooldown. It was just didn't get updated right over here. It's 12.5% for each of these. So keep that in mind. We're going to place this Eclipse Ballora down ASAP. Same thing with the JOP. The JOP did, in fact, get nerfed, and then it got buffed again, and they did forget to update the text here because it still showed 35% as of yesterday. It's fixed now back to 50%. The range is only 65% boost rather than a 100% boost. It's still better than the 50% boost. So we're going to place down the JOP ASAP. Now, I was using OMC, but now this is borrowed, by the way. That's why I don't have Vengeance on it. But at the same time, I think I'm going to take him out. I'm going to show you in a moment what unit I'm going to use instead of him. But if you can actually get to $25,000, Astro Bonnie will solo pretty much any single wave. Now, it may need help along the way, but if you have a shiny Vengeance Astro Bonnie, I just have a regular Vengeance Astro Bonnie, and let me tell you, this thing literally is a game changer. It does 100% regen halting for all of these enemies, and since you can place 2 of these things, I'm telling you, it's literally game over, lights out once you get that Astro Bonnie down. This is what carries all the way through. Get to that 25 and you're done. The other unit that I brought along is the shiny Night Guard Afton. And another reason why is you can place 3 of them. It's the second best DPS starter in the game. It does the cone AoE slowing. I don't need the slowing, but it does poison damage, so that is very effective as well. Now, I may or may not place this as we kind of move along, but I brought him along just in case. I could technically bring along another late game unit, but I think that it's probably best to bring along more starter units than late game units. Okay, did we go over everything now? Now, check this out. Let's go to teams, and here's my Steampunk Endless. Let's scroll on down to the bottom here and equip this team. So let me go back to the units here. I swapped out OMC with Overseer Foxy. The reason for it, it's only $6,000 to place, and on top of it, it does a targeted 65% slow, which is actually better than the JLP. So when you're selecting those modifiers that's reducing the range of your units, you can place 2 Overseer Foxies and a JOP and maybe place that 3rd Overseer depending on how many placements you have left. You can place them strategically along the map and all of the enemies are going to get slowed. So the JOP is actually doing a good job with that 50% overall full AoE, where we don't need the 40% for this Overseer Foxy, but we do need that 65%. And I haven't gone to late waves with Overseer, but I'm hoping that this is going to be a better unit than OMC just because of that 65% slowing overall. We're going to see how that works out for us. The bosses in Endless, I'm not worried about at all. Astro Bonnie will completely annihilate them. So if you can get your hands on an Astro Bonnie, that'd be really good. And lastly, to wrap this thing up before we hop on into a game of Endless, Stone Trap, I have 4 of them. Sadly, I was not able to get a shiny version. I think I'm going to put one of these up as a giveaway in my Discord server after I'm done with this video. So if you want to hop on into my Discord server, the link is down below. Make sure you click on that link, join the Discord server, and get your name in the hat for a Stone Trap. It's a pretty good unit, and I think it's worth it for sure, especially if you're a newer or mid-game player. The other thing I want to point out is that MEN, if I can spell that properly, Mendo here, a lot of people reaching out to me and saying, Bean, you need to use Mendo. It is overpowered because when he starts placing his traps down, you end up going to a different map. You go to different maps wherever he places all these traps. But then when you come back to whatever map it was that he placed the traps actually stay on the map. Now, What I've been told is that that glitch has been fixed. So you'll have to let me know if that's true or not. But either way, that was kind of cool that it happened that way, but it wasn't supposed to. So keep that in mind moving forward. Let me know if that is the case. Let's play a handful of waves here, and then we'll kind of go from there. Oh, you know what? The other thing too is that I forgot to mention this in the Fntd Discord server. I think it was Goon that posted and said that there will be rewards for the top 10 players on the leaderboard in this endless. So let me show you what I'm talking about. When you click on the top hat, you'll see the leaderboard now, and I was 9th. I'm not 9th anymore. Let's see where I'm at. And it doesn't say what place that you're in, but I got to wave 546. So I'm definitely got booted out of the top 10. This was 9th place at one point. Now it's not. Now the question that I have to ask the developers, and I'm going to find out soon, hopefully, is that these people getting to these far of waves, I know they have better units than I do, even though I think mine are pretty good. Is this with duos or trios or even quads? If this is solo, then, I mean, congratulations, hats off. That's absolutely insane. But I know that duos and trios, I think you actually end up getting you do end up getting the same amount of clocks now. That's been fixed. And so keep that in mind, that if you do run duos, trios, quads, that the amount of clocks you get are the exact same had you run solos. And I know that duos is definitely faster than solos. I just don't know how much. But as far as trios and quads are concerned, that again, I don't know. I'd have to hear back. I got to get feedback from the community on that and see which is the fastest way to go. The last thing I will say before we hop on in a game here is that there is an income multiplier that decreases over time. So if you notice, if you're playing these later waves, you're not getting as much money as you would right out of the gate. And that comes straight from Goon. I'm not telling you what the money amount is or what the percentage drop actually is, but at the same time, that's what ends up happening. So keep that in mind as you're kind of progressing along here. These players here that are on the leaderboard, these late game players, your money is essentially, you're not gaining much. So just keep that in mind. All right, let's hop in on the game. Here we go. Since we're talking strategy, remember, you want to pick the modifier that has the lowest amount of, the lowest number essentially. So these 3s you want to stay away from. The 1s and 2s are what you want to pick. You also want to stay away from max tower placement nerfs towards the end. Now you can pick these right away, and that's why it's good when you're picking your team here. You want to pick a team that has the least amount of placements. So for example, an Astro Bonnie, only 2 placements, that's good to go. An Eclipse Ballora, I know there's 3 placements, but placing one of them, that's what you want to do. JLP, one of them, that's what you want to do. An Overseer Foxy, 3 of them, you probably want to place all 3. These Fortified Endo 02s, you're going to want to place 4 of them. But you want to keep track of this. Like I said in my videos yesterday, I wish there was somewhere on here where it told you the amount of units that you have total to place. And then when you select these over here, then it actually shows what's going on. You also want to stay away from reduced range, especially reduced range 3. You want to save this for the very end. Do not pick range whatsoever, ever. You got it? So unfortunately, I have 3 kind of rough modifiers to start. I'm going to pick the takeaway 3 because I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, you get 20 total placements to start. I'm not going to be anywhere close to 20. I can actually get away with about 8. So I can save this. I don't want to take away 5 right away. I'll take away 3. You can also zoom out when you're doing all these modifiers, well, at least on this first map, to see kind of what's going on here. We have 2 exits, and follow the path here. You see the arrows on the path? The enemies are going to be coming out from this entrance and this entrance here. So maybe not the best map to start off with, but at the same time, the exits are still relatively close. So let's go ahead and click on the takeaway 3 placements. And now watch this. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to place the JOP. We're going to place that Eclipse Ballora here. This is going to be really easy, especially to start. I'm not going to be concerned about anything that's going on at all. And I mean, these guys are so slow already because the JLP has the full range. We'll maybe get to the first boss. I'm not going to completely play this thing out, but the range is really nice here. Eclipse Ballora completely maxed out. And if I did need more towers, then I could place the Shiny Afton, the Shiny Night Guard, around the maps as well. So for example, if I'm not reaching, I can place them right over here. And look at that, completely maxed out now. The Tarnished Bonnie, that is definitely one of the units that has regen powers to it. So that's when you want to save up for that 25,000. And let's see, let's take away this Afton now and watch. See the Tarnished Bonnie? See how, watch this. Tarnished Bonnie, there it is. See how it's slowly going away? Let's go ahead and put the Astro Bonnie down. It's gone. Goodbye. See you later. Thanks for playing. Goodbye. Okay, JLP maxed out. And then the other thing you can do, this is wave 6, so this isn't going to make a big deal, but you can place down the Overseer Foxy. Not so much because of the damage, but because of that 65% slowdown, and that's going to be helpful, not in the beginning here, but towards the end on later waves. I do wish that you were able to scroll. I know you could put your cursor over the modifier, but I wish there was a way you could scroll to see all of them. Or if they stacked over here somehow. I don't know. I don't know the best placement for these. But the first boss is going to come out roughly about wave 20, right around there, 17 to 20. And I believe that is kind of random. Okay, what do we have going on here? We're at wave 15. We have the Overseer Foxies. I know I can place 3 of them. But the other thing you can do is kind of wait to see where the boss spawns, and then you can pick what side of the map to do your final placement. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to wait for the boss to spawn, and then kind of go from there. And I think we'll just do one boss. I don't want to run this thing like crazy. We'll do the next map after this one, and I'll show you what I'm talking about with strategy and placement. Okay, boss is coming out on wave 18. See, he's on this side, so now I'm going to place a unit right here, completely max him out. And you can even place some of these Aftons or these Night Guards down and just make it easier. But the boss, it just has so little health to it. I'm never concerned about the boss. Now, you can take a break here, you can pause, do whatever you want, but then when you're ready to go, hop back on in here, and there's the 250. The next reward is going to be 600 clocks total, I believe, from the Bean Gaming Spreadsheet of Hope. Now, take a look here. Health 3? No. Stay away from Health 3. Take away 3 tower placements. You still may be able to do that. 10, so I'm going from 29, so I get 17, 16, 14. I would be at 14 placements. I can do that one. I don't want to increase my tower cooldown just yet. Take advantage of the 3 placements while you can. Okay, next map up. This one's an interesting map. This one is tough on later games because you have enemies coming out from each side. This is where the Anim dude really struggles because it only targets one of these sides. So keep that in mind as well. Let's go ahead and place down the Eclipse Ballora. This is going to be super easy because of the money amount that I'm getting. It's a lot. I haven't gone past the threshold yet for the first money modifier as well, or the first, I don't know what you call it, but the first something or another that actually reduces money, the income adjustment. There you go. Now I'm at $35,000, so I can go ahead and place these Astro Bonnies. And what's interesting is that you can't play, like, look, you can't place the Astro Bonnie on this side, but you can place them over here, and it just doesn't work. And what about here? Yeah, same kind of deal. You can place them on this side, but not on the other side. Really interesting. So let me just go ahead and place them over here, speed things up. Oh, we already have enough placements. Good. Max out and completely max out. And 40,000, 50,000. See how fast the money's coming in right now? That's pretty easy. Okay, let's go ahead and get rid of them. Let's get rid of everything here. And one more. Let's see. And I know there were some people that reached out and said, Bean, I actually can solo this thing with just my fortified endos all the way up until wave, I don't know what wave it was, but it was quite a bit of waves, maybe 150, something like that. But you can see these enemies aren't moving very fast. As you progress along here and they start gaining health and gaining speed when you pick those modifiers, it becomes quite challenging. So we're going to finish this thing up and let's go back to the lobby. Here we go. Let me know what you think of the new modified, the updated of the update Steampunk Endless event. I think it's a lot better than it was before. You're still going to have to grind. It's probably going to take me about 20-ish more games to get the new Apex unit, and I'm fine with that. You shouldn't be able to get it easily. Some people may have to play 50 to maybe 100 endless games. Guess what? It's fine. It's an Apex unit. It's not supposed to be easy to get. If you can get this thing within 1 week rather than 1 day, I know that there are some people that got it in a day because of the of how much clocks you were getting at the beginning. I understand that. It's not fair, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But if you can get the new Apex unit within a week, even a couple weeks, or even by the end of the event, guess what? You're able to get it. That's all you have to focus on. You shouldn't be able to get these things right away. If you're able to get it right away, then it's probably like a rare or a common or something like that. You don't want that. You want to have to grind for it. That's what the community said anyways. So just keep that in mind. Just keep grinding along the way and just kind of go from there. And so if you did enjoy this video, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on that notification bell. Thanks again for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.